This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, the Baroness and Bear Fiorda, only on Talk 4 Media.
G'day guys, welcome to Behind the Scenes. I'm your host, the Baroness, Summer Helene, and we're on with my co-host. I can't call you the baddest bear in the cage, but how about the baddest guy in the pit? The baddest bear in the pit.
I'm neither that either.
No, Sam was definitely the baddest bear in the pit. His name's not even Bear, but Sam was the baddest bear in the pit that day. No,
absolutely. Congratulations to Sam Alvey winning his 2-belt championship in karate combat over the last weekend. Sam, as many of you know, is one of our guests on the show, a longtime guest, good friend and training partner of mine. He coached me when I first got to Dan Henderson's Athletic Fitness Center in Temecula, California, and he's making a huge comeback as a professional fighter. So really good on him.
Yeah, he went from the UFC to karate combat. He's a double champion. He's incredible.
He's done great. He had kicked someone.
He married America's Next Top Model.
He fought for the UFC. He won the Ultimate Fighter season.
No, he didn't win that.
Oh, I thought he did win. Okay.
No, he didn't win the Ultimate Fighter. He married his wife that year, so I always say he won.
All right.
That's my
fault. He
won
no matter what.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I don't care who won that year. Sam won.
He won no matter what.
Sam got McKee Sullivan, joined the UFC, and now has 2 belts.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who won that year. Sam beat them.
He did great. He beat his toughest stand-up opponent ever. It was a longtime kickboxer, 150-something fights, and mostly 140 wins. He head kicked him for some reason, was never part of the game plan. Good on Sam. I don't know.
I like
He just thought it would work, and it did.
Bear's really hungover. No, I'm kidding.
I'm not hungover. I flew into Dubai for that fight, and then flew back, and I've yet to correct.
He was supposed to come Dan Henderson.
I'm not ready for
he comes back, and now he's dying.
Yeah,
but
he
has to go back to training today. For those that don't know, we are
tired.
time traveling. This is Tuesday, the 6th.
Yes, not Friday, where we normally have our scheduled live show. So if you're writing in the comments, thank you, but we aren't reading them live.
And anyone, just FYI, anyone, anything in newsworthy that's happened between now and then, oh my God, can you believe that happened?
Oh, it was amazing
shocking,
or terrible.
Yep, shocking, terrible, whatever.
Absolutely.
I'm really pissed off about the tariffs on the film industry. That's
kind of new though, right? He just put it into where it's like 100% tariff on any foreign films coming in, but you also told me that it's any part of a film that is filmed outside the United States will be impacted too.
And I have like 3 TV shows meant to shoot outside the United States. I have a fight set up in Nigeria. That's going to be in California now. So it's working. I'm having to move everything.
Well, that's just it. Everyone's going to start moving everything into the States, but we don't have everything that we need collectively as a country.
Not even
here
close.
in the
I'm going to have to go to Arizona. So it's awful.
They have a lot of good scenery though.
So it's awful.
Yeah.
Other than that, we had the Met Gala, which it's funny. The whole thing was on the Black Dandy, which should have been super nice tailoring. And there was some really nice tailoring. Of course, Zendaya looked incredible. Rihanna looked incredible. Dapper Dan actually showed up. Like it was.
What the hell's Dapper Dan?
Oh my God, you need Google.
I don't know.
Anyway,
all right.
So essentially, people did really, really well. I think the Kardashians kind of missed the point as usual. They're like, look, let me wear whatever random dress I'm supposed to wear and add a hat. I was disappointed. I would have liked to have seen more. I liked when Dapper Dan had Ghanaian symbolism on his clothing. I loved that, but it was problematic. You can see a reversal in plastic surgeries in Hollywood. People are getting their fillers taken out and going with a more Korean skincare look. I actually had Alexa send me a bunch of information on Korean skincare so I can tell you the procedures they're getting done. And the truth is they're getting the same procedures done that are being done in America. They're just getting them done differently.
How so?
Instead of getting like the cheekbones snatched, they're getting everything plumped.
Oh, because they have thinner faces?
No, they want baby faces.
Oh.
Rather than snatched faces.
I never got that. Why not look like adults? You're adults. Why are you trying to look like kids?
I have a baby face. I don't mind that.
Yeah, but it's natural. You can't help that. And no one's going to mistake you for a child. What I'm saying is
they did up until I was like 25. Like literally up until I was 25.
Maybe I'm a little bit biased in your favor because my first thought was like, okay, good genetics. Well, did you have surgery to get that though?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't get why people. If you're an adult now, be proud of who you are. You look how you look because of what you've done in life. Your skin, your
Speaking
face shows
adults,
your experience and your love.
Speaking of
Your life,
adults,
I mean.
Bonnie Blue, the adult entertainer, is going to give birth on camera. This is where we have fallen, people.
Do we know who the father was?
No.
She banged 1,000 dudes in like 14 hours. Any one of them could do it. Eh? That's the next step. Go on Jerry Springer. He's not around anymore. Go on the Jeremy Kyle show. Maury Povich, right?
Yeah, no, I like Jeremy.
And just like, hey, who's the father? Got 1,000 you guys here. They all took paternity tests.
And that just made my eye twitch.
Oh, that'd be great. What a great way to set up
now,
3
that
parts.
said, I did have a producer actually reach out to me about the show, the TV show we're doing, Receiver of Many, based on Rachel Alexander's book. She reached out to me, and we've already had some, like, it's gone really, really well. We've got some offers. We're ready to go into production. I'm actually going to send the book out to some BookTokers and invite them to do cameos in the show, because I think it would be fun. Because BookTok and Tumblr is essentially what blew this book up. This is an Amazon bestseller. I cannot
believe Tumblr's still around.
It is still around.
Is it doing anything other
still
than
a thing?
Like, I'm glad it's making people good, like happy with books.
It's still a thing.
Oh,
it's
crazy.
Unbelievably still a thing.
I feel it's a sleeper app.
I do have to actually send a cease and desist, because I guess they were trying to get A Court of Thorns and Roses made into a TV show. And that's actually based on Receiver of Many. Yeah. So I'm like, no. You can't base it on, my client's IP and try and get that made into a series, because then I have to sue you. And I don't want to do that.
Could they technically do that?
No, they can't. It's very illegal. So she just didn't disclose that it was based on another book when she sold it. So I'm having to deal with the studio and be like, you can't.
You can't actually do that.
You can't do that.
You're stealing intellectual property.
Yeah, it's a stolen
That's
IP.
Copyright.
So I'm
let it
dealing
happen.
with that.
Make more money.
No, because that'll actually ruin the come out of Receiver of Many.
Oh,
and that's fine. I'm actually going to send a copy of Receiver of Many, the entire series, to our current guest, and we're going to be talking about her favorite books. You guys really liked her last time, and I've seen an uptick in male followers, because most of our followers are male, which we were talking about before the show, and we'll reiterate that on the show. So I'm going to say welcome back.
Hi. Hey. Me.
Very much. So did the audience, actually.
Yeah, it was. I was saying we saw a really big uptick. Most of our viewership is male because of Hair Bear next to me. And they really, really liked and started following and reading books because of you. So you took a bunch of gym bros and got them reading.
Oh, I love that. I love when the gym bros are on my side.
Well, it was amazing. You took a bunch of bros and got them reading. So I'm going to ask you, would you tell everyone that wasn't here last time a little bit about yourself, what you do, where to find you?
Hi, my name is Ayman. I talk about books on literally every single social media platform except for Tumblr. As soon as you guys mentioned Tumblr earlier, it brought back memories. I'm not on Tumblr, guys. So, but no, yeah, I just talk about books. I'm from the Chicago area, and that's pretty much it.
I like that.
Fair enough. Chicago. Did you grow up in Chicago, or you just live there now?
No, I live there now. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, but I moved here about 6 years ago.
That's a big jump.
Well, Memphis is still a big city, right? It's not
Memphis
like
is lovely. That's not like back now. So you went from one massive city to another, but these are two very, very different cities.
They're drastically different. Yeah.
What was it like a big culture shock for you when you got out there?
Oh, absolutely. Like I pretty much had that kind of small town mindset living in Tennessee, and then coming to Chicago felt like I felt like an ant in a big city, which it pretty much was like that. And so definitely a big culture shock. I'm seeing my people. I hear my people. Didn't really see that in the South. But no, yeah. I love both cities, but I will be staying here in Chicago for the time being.
Just like as much fun as Tennessee is, just no.
What about Chicago's this is my home now, right here?
Honestly, I think there's just a lot more to do here. Memphis is great. There's good music. There's good barbecue. But I had lived in Tennessee for I think 13 years, so I feel like I had done everything. And I moved after high school. I moved here for college anyway. So yeah, I just been here ever since and like fell in love with the city and like I live like outside of the city in the suburbs now and it's just nice. Like and the city's just so accessible as well. Like I go almost every weekend. Um and there's always like something to do. There's like some sort of event. There's a lot more like opportunities for content creators in this city. Not as much as like New York or LA, but there's still something. So no, yeah, the weather's kind of shit, but like, you know, you gotta sacrifice something.
Well,
I like that.
Speaking of content creation, do you think them moving to Chicago played a role in what you do now for your career?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I didn't start content creation until like I think it was a sophomore in college, so like 2020, you know, during quarantine, lovely time. And no, yeah, I feel like being in Tennessee or something. I mean, you can do content creation literally anywhere, but like I'm constantly traveling between New York and LA, and I know like if I were to do that from Memphis, I would probably take like a connecting flight to like New York or LA, or it's just easier and more accessible to be here. Um, and no, yeah, like even going on international flights, like I don't have to take no connecting. I'm just right there in that country from the Chicago airport, and that's lovely.
Right where you need to be.
Yep.
I like that.
That always helps.
What is the best book you've read since the last time we talked to you?
Oh my God. Okay, so it's technically not a book. It's fan fiction. It's Harry Potter fan fiction.
Oh, no.
I like fan fiction.
I don't know. It's I hear them like, oh, this is going somewhere south.
So it follows Draco and Hermione. They are the couple here, and it's like it's on AO3. Hermione, yes. It is called Green Light by Serene.
It's called Hermione. It's super popular.
Yeah, it's like one of the most popular like non-canon fake ships of all time. And so I read Green Light by Serene Muzaffar, and it's literally about Draco and Hermione. This is like post the war, post Battle of Hogwarts. They're like in their mid-20s, and they go on this expedition in Morocco and find this like magical cave or something. One of the best things I've ever read. It was, I think, so I read it on my Kindle, but to describe it in physical terms, it's nearly 2,000 pages. It took me 2 weeks to finish, and it was like the best thing.
Hold on. Wait, fuck that. We're not moving past that right now.
I'd like to remind everyone every time we use bad language, we give money to the Boys and Girls Club of America, the Humane Society of America, and Free MMA. We swear because
1,000 fucking pages in 2 weeks. I'm not moving past that.
It was like crazy. I think it like altogether it was 40 hours, and I would read like 2 or 3 a day, sometimes more.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You got to read with such speed and intensity, because I think I would get through 10 pages in an hour. Like, I'm not a bad reader. I can't keep the attention span. I got to go back.
Yeah, this one, it was just different. Like there was not one part of it that I'm like, honestly, it could have been longer. So I loved every part of it. It was so good. 10 out of 10. I would recommend, even if you're not a Harry Potter fan or anything like that. I'm not that big of a Harry Potter fan, but I loved it. Like it was amazing.
I'm a millennial. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan.
Oh yeah, we try and binge watch at least once a year.
It's real, as you should.
Yeah, we discussed last time as well that sometimes people on Wattpad or who make fan fiction tend to make a better storyline than what we see a lot of modern writers are creating for movies today.
Yeah.
Why do
other times you end up with 50 Shades of Grey?
They still made 3 movies out of it, but why do you think, in your opinion, that would be the case?
I'm not really sure. Like maybe it's because they're like picking up from a world that already exists, but then again, like the writing and the stories that I've read through fan fiction Wattpad are some of the best stuff like I've ever read. I don't really know why it's just much better. Maybe because it's a lot of these authors, they're not on like a time limit, they're not on a deadline. They're just writers, you know, they do this for fun. They're not making any money over it or anything like that. So some of them will write like a chapter a week and add to their story, and that's why it ends up being like 2,000 freaking pages. And no, yeah, like it's just so good. And some of them like will go the traditional route, like, oh, they're fan fiction, their story got super famous, and then then they basically rewrite what they already have. So then it's kind of like what you guys mentioned earlier, like the IP. Like you can't just like publish fan fiction because like Harry Potter already exists. So they have to rewrite the whole thing and make it their own, and then sometimes it becomes an entirely different thing, kind of like 50 Shades of Grey was Twilight fanfic, right? So like,
but not that stepped far enough away from the IP that no problem.
Exactly. Yeah. So like
that like points to you, like that's
exactly. Yeah. No, like that movie made money, like, so
yeah.
And I watch it every year. So yeah. And
that.
A lot of Hermione fanfics are being picked up this year to become traditionally published and become like their own thing. I think there's like 3 major ones that are coming out this year. So yeah, this year's for the
they're also doing the Harry Potter, the extension in the Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Where it's Harry. Well, the funny part is they turn around, they're like, oh my God, who's going to be playing Harry Potter? They're like, Daniel Radcliffe. Like, yeah, but the actor needs to be like 40 now. And it's the moment of Daniel Radcliffe is like 40 now. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But I love that they're using the original cast. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think so too. I can't wait to see it again. So,
and I'd like to see a dark Harry Potter. They're all old enough. They don't have to make it for kids anymore.
It is dark.
Right. Oh yeah, I would like to see that.
I looked it up the other day.
He's 35, yeah, he is.
I think that's why I read fan fiction. Like they're all older in most of the Harry Potter fan fictions that I read, so they're more mature. The themes are a lot more darker, so I'm ready for it regardless.
I certainly hope so, because those get kinky, and if we are talking about like the Chamber of Secrets, somebody needs to be in jail.
Oh yeah,
I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm like, that is not okay.
Absolutely.
No, of course
but
not.
No, the Hermione fiction, that was that is now peaking in popularity, but it's been growing for a decade. It's hugely
sure. Yeah.
And it apparently started because Emma Watson said she had a crush on Tom Felton.
On Tom Felton, yeah.
And so that started it, and she was, this is years and years and years ago. And then everyone kind of latched onto that idea and moved with it. And Tom Felton apparently was just not interested in Emma Watson. And now that they're all grown up, everyone's like, you're stupid.
Yeah, you like unleashed a monster with that. I can't lie. Like, oh my gosh. And even I've seen some like interviews as of late, even when they kind of mention like Draco and Hermione or fan fiction at all, like they are not answering those questions. They are diverting. They are not going into it, which like rightfully so, like protect your peace. But it's crazy how far we've come.
Well, I think it's interesting because you see the ones like the Hermione I get. Where I draw the line at like My Little Pony fan fiction, you get adult men showing up to these My Little Pony forums. I'm like, no. Shame on you. Like
that's crazy. Yeah.
Ask the creators and the voice actors at the conventions about the MLP fan fiction.
Yes. And I'm like, nope, you're a creep. No.
Let me stay with my ponies.
And they always look the part too. I know. He stands up. He's got the trench coat on. He's got the fedora. He's 300 pounds overweight. They look.
Wow.
Sorry.
Google it and you'll be sorry, but Google it anyway. It's a thing, but I do like that actually. J.K. Rowling, as many problems as I have with her, loves the fan fiction. She absolutely loves the fan fiction and the world building. And she said, as time's gone on, fans will come up with things and she'll incorporate it into the world because she thinks the fans own the world as much as she does. And I'm like, that is amazing. Why do you have to be such a douche in so many other areas?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, damn, I really like your work, but like, I don't really like you. Like, I remember on Twitter when I think she announced like Dumbledore's gay, and that like broke the internet for a while.
Everyone freaked out. She talked about him having a relationship before anything. And they're like, and that was, what started that was apparently, and this was during the filming, it was on the second Dumbledore. It was after they were filming the
so past
Triwizard Tournament.
It was Triwizard
Tournament, second version of Dumbledore. Triwizard Tournaments. And you guys can look up the story. It's an oddball one. What started this was the director was saying he wants to tell a story about this lady he met and how he loved her, and sometimes you have to let things go, and that was the story he was trying to tell Harry about, and it was the Cho Chen thing, right? And that was the point that she turned around. She's like, oh, that won't work. Dumbledore's gay.
Yeah.
And so it was that far back. She's like, and they're like, what? And she's like, well, I just never made it a big deal because it's not a big deal in the wizarding world.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, how do you go from super progressive to what the?
Exactly. She picks and chooses, which I'm just like, girl, please stop.
But so that far back, she had said that Dumbledore was gay and had a relationship with Grindelwald, and she'd written all these short stories about it. So all of that existed that far back in time. So we're talking 20 plus years ago.
Exactly. Like
you didn't like read like it was. Yeah, it was really interesting to me. But yeah, very few people know that, and I of course, you're the book queen, but still, I find it really interesting that it's kind of
absolutely, yeah. It's just like makes the world much more bigger, and keeps people talking in the conversation.
I like that she includes her fans, though.
Yeah, that's important.
That's good. Yeah, I love when authors do that. Like because without the fans, where would they be? So
exactly
right.
Well, the one receiver of many. The reason I picked this up, I'm saying this in advance. I'm really sorry because I know a couple of the girls that chased me down watch this show. I was speaking at Comic-Con. This crazy group of fans of Rachel Alexander's chased me down, printed the book off at Staples, printed the entire first book, followed me around Comic-Con for like 3 days, gets a hold of me, threatened to follow me to the hotel if I did not read this, because I was doing a panel on how to get your IP turned into a film. I was there talking about comic books and books, and they're like, you need to make this a movie. I was like, no, I don't. And the psycho group got bigger and bigger and bigger as the days went on because they were calling other fans. I was like, anyone that's got an in-ground fan base like that, I'm in.
Yeah,
but just created a
wanted to be a now.
But the fan bases on these. Did you see the Harry Styles one? That was
yeah, for sure. Like there's I think there's a few. There's the After series. There's the Idea of You. Could be missing a few, but that's crazy. Like I want to know what Harry thinks of all this.
He's talking about it. He said he's flattered.
Oh, is he? Wow.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's kind of different because he's like a person versus like, obviously Harry Potter is like a fictional world. Yeah. So I'm like, I want to pick apart his brain about that.
So how it impacts the human a little bit differently than just it being a random character that someone created.
I would be interested in that. Have Alexis reach out to Harry Styles, please.
Yeah, we'll get him on.
I'm reaching out.
We'll get these questions answered.
He won't. He doesn't do interviews. What we can do, they can ask for a statement. So I'm now going to ask for a statement. I'll email you a copy before.
Can you imagine?
Thank you so much.
Manager getting this email, say, "Hey, what do you think of the fan fictions of yourself on the internet?"
Yeah.
For you, I think it's great. But I want a statement. I think I want to bounce back a few minutes ago because we mentioned about
you being
having
a lesbian,
time restrictions and like deadlines for these books. And I wanted to ask you, as an avid book reader, I'm sure you've had an author that took for fucking ever to come out with a second book, or maybe you finished one and they busted the next one out, and it's just like, you should have taken more time for this. So do you think deadlines or time restrictions are actually good for this industry, or do you think they should have freedom of it comes out when it comes out?
Maybe a little bit of both. Like, obviously, I want to read, if I'm reading a series and I'm anticipating the next book, like, I want it to be just as good as the first one, if not better. Like, I expect it to go up. A lot of authors that write trilogies, they'll kind of
middle dips.
Yeah, they'll get just like middle book syndrome where it's kind of not as good. You can tell it's a filler book. It's nothing much is happening. And then the last book is where that's like the bread and butter. That's like the conclusion. That's like the hurrah. So, and like for traditionally published authors is different since they are on deadlines and timelines, but sometimes they can get them extended. Like, I'm trying to think of like examples where like
Rick Riordan did it with the Red Pyramid series where he
and even now he's extending the Percy Jackson series. I haven't read the new books, but like I feel like I'd have to. I read those books when I was like 13, so
really good. I tried to get the Red Pyramid IP, couldn't. The first Percy Jackson film sucked. And then he released an additional, the new series, and it's okay. But I would have liked,
I believe that.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen it done like Harry Potter, where you follow the same characters and kids and the whole thing.
Oh, yes.
It's been really good. But I tried to get the Red Pyramid IP, and so it's locked up. Warner, everything has it locked up. You can't touch any of his IPs. None.
Oh, wow.
As long as
Yeah.
is being passed around, because that's obviously the bread and butter. And they don't want like Red Pyramid or one of the other IPs to swallow up the bread and butter series.
Right.
So it's good business.
Yeah.
Pissed.
No, that like, wow, that's interesting because I remember like, I think it was right around when the movie came out, then he was on Twitter just like tweeting like, yeah, I didn't even watch that movie. Like it basically traumatized him. He's like, it's not even the actors' faults that they were part of this like shit show, but yeah, I'm never watching that movie. So good for him for protecting his peace and all his IPs.
Wow, wasn't he a part of it too? Like, obviously,
he got the worst deal I've ever seen in all the get. So you look at J.K. Rowling. She signed a deal that says she gets creative control.
Yeah.
Rachel Alexander, the woman I'm working with, she has creative control.
Yeah.
If you don't sign that, and I'm warning anyone that ever works with me, I can wrap your book into a different IP. I can change it. I can do what I want with it. Once you sell me that IP, and Rick Riordan didn't know that. And so all of a sudden, he's got a 15-year-old protagonist instead of a 12-year-old. The Heroes of Olympus series, which was the last one that came out that followed the Percy Jackson, was excellent. And he's got absolutely excellent. But yeah, it's very and even the way he got around things, like everyone's like, why don't they have cell phones? Because it attracts monsters. Like he's just like,
yeah. Oh, he's so smart. Wow.
Well, when you have a universe like that, you can kind of shoehorn those things in there, and it makes sense because it's already fictional. I don't have to base it off anything. That's
he was a teacher. The way this started was these students. He worked with special needs students that were dyslexic and ADHD, and he'd tell
even his son.
Wow. Correct. Yeah, I like how much you know.
We're in her world.
I know, right? I'm like, I'm the visitor this time. I love it. But yeah, it's he was this teacher that wrote this series, and so he didn't write the series to become a book. He wrote this series to entertain his students and kids.
I got you. Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite young adult book right now?
Right now, I'm trying to think. Like, I've just finished this book over the weekend. It's called The Thrashers by Julie Soto, and it's a YA mystery kind of thriller. It's kind of like 13 Reasons Why vibes. So it starts off with this girl who has killed herself, and then there's this popular group of kids at this high school, and they're called the Thrashers, and they're all kind of on trial because they're accused of like bullying her to her suicide. So it was really good. Like it follows it's in the perspective of the main character the entire way through. She's in that popular group, but she's more of kind of like an outcast, but still runs with the popular guys. And she kind of feels like, you know, she's there with them like accidentally, simply because she's known the alpha of their group for the longest time. And it follows like how they treat her when she was like alive, and even like them in present time, and how they're kind of being haunted by her ghost, and all that wraps up at the end, and like why all these like weird things are happening after her death. And like it's basically like, you know, the popular kids get what's coming to them, and like there's also this like diary that's like been taken by the police that supposedly has like, you know, her diary entries with like how they treated her and like certain things. Like there's this one part where she accuses one of the main guys of like statutory rape and all this. So like they're all popular, they're all rich kids and stuff like that. So like all of their scholarships and stuff like that, they're about to graduate, they're all gone, their lives are ruined and stuff like that. And it was honestly a very interesting read. Like it was a little bit boring in the beginning, but then once I got to like almost like the second half, not even the second half, like the second third, it started to pick up, and then I just finished it like in one sitting. It was really good.
I love the symbolism. It's you make haunting you is always it's always a good read, especially for YA, because that's a good thing to learn. The choices now, because as a kid, you're building who you will become. You don't know who you are yet.
Yeah.
Building blocks, good or bad, you put in place is who will be.
Exactly. I think it works the best. I love a good YA thriller because it's also like, besides the thriller aspect of it, it's about these kids that are trying to like find independence, but they're still kids at the end of the day. and find out who they are. Like a lot of them are very character driven, and it's a high school setting, which also like plays a part into the whole plot of the story.
I like that.
That's good. I was sitting here thinking about this. There's so many different, obviously a wide variety of different books, different genres. Just to kind of play a little bit of devil's advocate for certain countries out there in the world, sometimes you get a book that probably shouldn't have been made for one topic or another, be it hateful or it's controversial. So do you think, as you've read all these different books in your life, that it's more like we should have different restrictions, or some books should be allowed and some shouldn't, or some publishers shouldn't allow to publish books or shouldn't?
Book burning or unpublishing,
I'm not saying burn the books that are there. I'm just saying maybe 50 Shades should have been turned down at the time. But
people love 50 Shades.
People love kinky shit. So
exactly.
No, yeah. There's definitely some books out there that should not have been on shelves for sure. Like whether they be the traditional or like independently published, like this is the most craziest thing I've ever heard from this, like the book community as a whole. But like I think it was like from last month or the month before, this woman from Australia published a book about and I'm not sure if I can say this, but pedophilia.
If you're not going to mention a particular virus,
pedophilia. So it's about
Okay.
a little girl
you may not
falls in love with her dad's best friend, and how they continue a relationship until she's I think a teenager, and obviously her dad's best friend is like 3 times her age, and this starts off when she's a kid, and this was I think independently published through Amazon, and because also the dedication of it was the most craziest thing I've had ever read. It literally said, "Now I will look at children differently." And this is a woman, lives in Australia, she has kids, because like she promoted this on the internet. She was arrested for it, for pedophilia.
Hang on.
Like,
on behalf,
yeah, exactly.
On behalf of my people, Australians as a whole do not believe that. I'm very very sorry. And
we don't claim her.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad
crazy.
She was arrested. I'm glad there's consequences, because essentially she's writing CP. Like
that's exactly what she was arrested for. And I just thought that was the craziest thing I had ever seen. And from this, like, I wouldn't even call that like it's a book community thing. It's kind of like this is like she's arrested. Like this is
that's
law. We do not claim her.
That's not like book burning or book banning. That is someone wrote CP and it's against the law. It should be.
She wrote and distributed CP. I would say anyone who consumed it as well. Maybe you read it and you're like, "Oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be," and you threw it out. But if you read the whole thing, I think you need to be looked at twice.
I always feel bad.
For sure.
That have to do that, because it's one of the things they say with the police officers, and part of the reason they end up with such severe PTSD is there
we go. We're back.
Can you hear us?
Oh, okay. Okay, now I can hear you guys.
Okay. Our worst day is their every day.
Yeah.
And that's why they end up with so many problems. I mean, they have there's a nice policeman that had to sit through reading that book. There's a district attorney that had to sit through reading that book.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like now it's like off of Amazon, Goodreads and stuff. You can't find it anywhere, which glad. Like,
good.
So
anybody
that's still kind of reading great.
That's except some Diddy version sitting out there reading it, got a hold of it. It's still circulating on the dark web.
I'm so tired of Diddy. But that makes sense. What's
Diddy? Yeah, he's he's taken over the news.
He did for a while, at least, unless he's back in.
And then there are a few guys coming up with him that are going to go badly. Ashton Kutcher left the country, huh?
Jay-Z's
involved.
Thank
apparently.
You to our sidekick here.
Yep, and apparently, Ashton Kutcher fled the country. It's going well. So, with upcoming books, what books are you most looking forward to? What fictions are you most looking forward to this year?
This year, I'm trying to think like what's coming up. so much came out in April, and I feel like that was like, oh, that's what I had been anticipating for the longest time. But like, even I think this July, a lot of stuff is coming out that I'm really anticipating. Like I mentioned before, like a lot of Hermione fanfics are being traditionally published into like, their own works, so a lot of that is coming out this year. We have what was originally called Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Ordeal of Being in Love is now I think it's like the Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. That's coming out in July, which I'm so excited to read. And what else? Oh my god, you guys are frozen.
The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it does. I think she froze.
Okay, am I back now?
We got you back.
Oh, it was frozen on my side too. I was still talking. I didn't even realize.
We were at Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy.
Yes, The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Bridget something. I forgot her last name. That's coming out in July, which I'm really excited to jump into. And this other fan fiction called The Auction originally is coming out in July, and it's going to be called Rose and Chain. And it's the original fanfic is about it's like post Battle of Hogwarts. Voldemort has won, and there's this auction put in place where they're like selling all of basically Harry Potter supporters and selling them to Death Eaters. So Draco Malfoy buys Hermione Granger in like service like to protect her and stuff like that. And it's a very dark fanfic. It's like a lot of some dark elements, but it's really good. It's one of the best things I've ever read. So I can't wait to see what the author does with that in like her new piece of work.
Nice. You know, with all the different book talk and everything and what you do, have you ever thought about writing a book yourself? Or do you right now? Are you writing one?
I'm not. I feel like I don't really have the skills to like write books. I just read them and like, give my constructive criticism. But for a while, I was thinking of writing like a children's book. I might delve into that probably like, I don't know, not anytime soon, but maybe in the future or something like that. But like a full like fledged on book, like that's like in my criteria or my skills. I love that for anybody else. I can have like full stories and worlds and stuff like that in their head and put that on pen and paper and type it all out and create like a whole thing. I think that skill is amazing. And but it's not everyone. Not me.
Right.
There are a lot of people that shouldn't write books or read books. I have read those books.
Yeah, like that Australian lady.
Like the Australian. Yes. I've not read that book, but I agree she should not write a book.
So why children's books if you had to pick one?
I don't know. Like I would like to see something that kind of pertains like if I were to write a children's book, I want it to be a little bit more personal, maybe about my culture, the way I was raised, me in like a Western society, something like that. So not like as if like books like those aren't already written, but like it would be nice to like create something like that or be a part of something like that, even if I was like a co-author with something. For a while I was going to do one with Disney, but like that thing kind of fell through. I don't know what's up with that, but no, yeah, I would think about doing it, but like I'm not really serious about doing it anytime soon. So I guess when I get to that point of like I need this to come out, I want this to happen, I want my name attached to this, I would be serious about it. But like another thing is like I've seen a lot of like book content creators become authors and they become successful in this and that. Then it's a lot different for you. Like you can't necessarily review books the same way because now you're an author. So it's like if you review books from other authors, you're kind of like shitting on your coworkers if you say anything negative. So like if I were to write like a whole book, it would have to be under a pen name. I would not put my face to it. I would not like attach anything to myself to it. Maybe I would promote it and pretend like, hey, there's this book coming out, make sure you guys pre-order it. But
read
yes, best book I ever read. Yeah, so good. Pre-order right now, link in bio. But other than that, like I don't want to attach my name to something else and to have it public. I've seen it go shit for a lot of book talkers. I've seen it be very successful for a lot of book talkers.
Right.
So yeah, I don't want to fall into the shit aspect of that.
I just like the idea of you coming on with your own book in the background of one of your videos and you're promoting it.
Yes.
You're like, yes, and it's an author of the pen name, not Ayman. It's fantastic. You should know.
Yes, like oh my gosh, it has everything that I love, and guys, I know you guys are gonna eat it up. Like, make sure you pre-order it right now.
Well, you know, that's just it. You would probably know more than anyone else what your own audience would want to read.
But that's probably why the BookTokers do so well. They know how to,
they're in that audience. They're in, I guess, they write what, people would want to read, And I feel like sometimes it works for some authors and sometimes it doesn't. Like, I feel like you should, if you want to write a book, obviously, like, you want to make it entertaining enough for an audience, but also, like, write it for yourself. Don't try to fill into, I guess, certain criterias. I've read a lot of books where I can tell the author's trying to fill into certain tropes. So, like, the online audience can, like, rave and talk about it, and then it just takes away from the story, and I'm not really getting anything, like, profound, not that the stories are, like, bad or anything, but I'm just like, I finish it, I don't really think about it again. It's not anything that lingers with me or anything like that. But no, there's some authors that, like, they know what they're doing. They write to appease an audience, but they also have a good story at the heart of it, and you can tell they've, like, put a lot of effort into it. And and, like, regardless if they were already a person that's, like, online or anything like that, like, this book would have done successfully.
I love how authentic you are. I think I'm such a corporate shill that I predominantly make reality television. I'm like, all right, we need to hit this spot, this slot, and this slot. We need to hit this marker, and this marker.
Real, yeah.
Project with Receiver of Many, I'm producing it. I'm not allowed to touch it. Like, the author's like, you don't touch anything. You're just distributing it. No.
Yeah, the author knows what's
bad
going on.
summer. Go to the corner.
They're like, that's my baby. Don't touch my baby.
Yeah. It points to her. She was smart. She's
Real,
like, your distribution, you can touch that. Nothing else. Nothing creative. I'm like,
yeah.
But I love that you want that authenticity, because a lot of people are, like me, they're ticking those boxes.
Yeah.
They're looking for most revenue, not the best story.
Right.
When you look at, there was a film that came out not too long ago. It was by Lawrence Pugh. Hugo was in it. Harry Styles actually was in it, and it was based on the Stepford Wives. And she's in this world. You go into this 1950s world, and it's going to drive me crazy.
Don't worry, darling. Yeah.
Don't worry, darling. That's it. Exactly. Yep. And it's got kind of based on the Stepford Wives.
Yes.
And so you feel when people care and when they don't. There was a difference between the original Stepford Wives and as much as I love Nicole Kidman, the Nicole Kidman Stepford Wives.
Right.
One was a commentary on society. The other had a happy ending.
Oh wow, I'll have to get into it. I haven't seen either, but yeah.
So the original Stepford Wives, the woman gets swallowed up and disappears into society because that's what happens, and that's the commentary. That's what it's supposed to happen. At the end of the second one, they wanted a happy ending, so they flipped.
Okay.
People are looking for a lot of happy after post-COVID,
They want happy. And so, no, this was well before COVID.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of things where they turn things into a happy ending that just never had a happy ending. And I think you get more leeway in books and in fan fiction not to have a happy ending than you do in film, because film has to hit so many demographics.
I'm going to ask you probably a very difficult question, especially as we get closer to the end of the show. It might take a minute. I'm not saying you have to speak on behalf of all the people who follow you, but I'm sure you have a good general idea of what your audience likes to see and what they may like to read. What do you think overall would make a really good book for anyone who wants to come and read? What itself would sound like a good idea, premise, or if there's one that's already out there that you would recommend to people?
One that's already out there to recommend to people, or for me personally, whatever book that I'm reading, whatever genre that I am getting into, I love connecting to the characters. I love books that are character driven, even if the plot is kind of linear, as long as these characters are well rounded, not just the main character, but other side characters you don't get POVs from. I think that really makes a great book. And an example of that is I'm trying to think. I have two. Okay, so one is Alone with You in the Ether, and it follows two characters that deal with mental illness, and it's how they fall in love, dealing with I think the main character, she has bipolarism, and the guy has OCD, and it's just kind of how they fall in love through their mental illness and the difficulties that come with that. That's a really good one. And another one is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. It's very character driven. It's about this woman in 17th century France. She's like forced to get married, and then she summons this like dark god and makes a wish to him, even though she's been told don't summon the dark gods and make wishes to them. She does that anyway, and she says like she wants to get out of this marriage. So then he curses her with immortality and also like forgetfulness. So basically, like if she walks into a room, people won't remember her. So she walks into a room, she leaves, the people in that room will not remember her. So she's kind of like this ghost living through time with immortality. She can't leave her mark on the earth. Like it goes into even how like you can't take a picture of her because it'll come out blurred, because like she cannot be like, she's not a person that exists essentially.
Wow.
I think that turned into a film.
Yes, that I think it last year had a director attached to it, and I think it's coming to Netflix. I could be wrong, but it's like one of the best things I've ever read. The whole gag in that is like she finds a guy at a bookstore who can remember her, and that's like how does that happen? That's a whole overarching plot of it. But no, I would love to see that as a film. I think it would do so well. It's a very lyrical book. It's very character driven. The plot it's there, but it's very much like a woman at the center of the story, living her life, going through and like I think it starts from 17th century France to like 2014, so she's like well over 300 years old, and like follows her and her life, and like she falls in love with people even though like they forget her and stuff like that, and also it includes art and stuff like that. Lots of different mediums and stuff like that are included into this book, which is great. It's such a good book. It made me cry. It was very good.
Well, that's a good book.
Yeah, I'm now going to go read that book. I really like that. I like the authenticity of books. I do.
Absolutely, it's the best thing. It truly is.
Yeah,
it's so good.
When they stick to, I think what helps the most when they stick to something they know people are going to want to read. And when you start writing stuff that you wouldn't like to read yourself, or you go back and reflect, I wouldn't enjoy that book. Why would you assume other people would enjoy it?
Oh yeah, you got to love what you produce. You know what I'm saying? You got to love what you put out. If you don't, then like, you know, no one else is going to love it. You have to be your biggest critic. Like you have to be the number one person to judge what you put out and what you
I love the authenticity. I hate half of what I put out. And I'm like, pull a hair and throw a drink.
There we go. Yeah.
Yep.
Pull a hair.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I love the authenticity. And I think books give you a medium that a lot of people don't. Though that being said, you know, television does interfere with it. I'm looking forward to seeing that. We were talking about that going to Netflix. Just never be HBO. And I'm working with HBO. Remember, I love you, HBO.
What's wrong with HBO?
And they pissed off George R.R. Martin to the point he's never finishing a Game of Thrones.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So he was so upset.
Yeah.
So did he finish the books and just not the show?
No. He was in the middle of writing and they screwed up the story so badly.
Yeah.
That he was just like, screw it. I hate Game of Thrones now.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it made
but it's kind of like how he's like the Rihanna of the book world. We're never going to get that album, you know. We're never going to get the next book in the series.
He was really angry with how it ended. He's like,
him and his friends, so he's not alone.
No, it was pretty bad.
Did he at least move on to another thing, or is R.R. Martin done?
No, he's sitting in the corner pouting.
Shit.
Yeah, I feel like, especially at his age, like, just retire, man. Like, you're done. You have your millions and billions. Yeah. So he's good.
You're getting your royalties.
Well, he's upset they broke his stuff. So it's a Cartman moment. It's screw you guys. I'm going home.
Yeah, like you see that a lot with artists, though. Whether it's for music or plays or books, it's more than the money. It's if you piss the person off.
It's Rick Riordan on Twitter going, "Do not watch this stupid movie."
Yeah.
I love that. It's like at the end of the day, it's your story, no matter who picks up the IP or turns it into like a movie or TV show. Like,
right.
What IP would you like most to see as a movie?
As a movie, I'm trying to think. Okay, so I read this last year, and I think this would work best as like maybe a limited TV show with like, I would say HBO level budget, but now I feel like I'm scared to say HBO. But
HBO level budget means HBO level of fuckery. Okay.
No, we love HBO. I have like 3 projects with them.
I'm not a
Love
Parsons. I say whatever
HBO.
I want.
If you guys are listening, please sponsor me for your upcoming TV shows.
Please sponsor the show.
But it's called Vampires of El Norte, which translates to Vampires of the North, and it's about it follows this woman. She's like in her 20s, and it's during like Mexican American colonialism. So I think that's like 18th century, like 1864, something like that. And the vampires in this book, they're not like, Edward Cullen vampires. They don't have like glowy skin. They're grotesque and they're gross and they're not fun.
Like Nosferatu vampires.
Absolutely. So it follows her and her childhood best friend. It starts off when they're both kids and she gets into this accident and he thinks that she has died. And the accident is like a vampire attacks her. But then she survives from that. Because of that accident, he like flees the town that they live in. Then he comes back years later, I think about 10 or 15 years later, and they're both adults. And then he finds out, wait, she's alive. Like, I held on to this trauma of her death for so long, but she's alive. She's been alive this entire time. And then it's also like Cowboys vibes in this. They're in this battle that's about to break out. So they're moving their entire town to like other safe places and stuff like that. And the vampires are supposed to represent the American colonists that came to Mexico. So it's them kind of surviving and attacking, and it is very character driven, and it's like genred as a horror, but it reads more romance, and it follows like the two main characters finding themselves together in adulthood and connecting back to each other while also trying to survive these vampires that are trying to kill them. At one point they get separated from their like cavalry and a group of people, and they're on their own. They're like trekking to like through the forest and mountains and stuff like that, and trying to get away from the vampires that come out at night. And it was really good. I would love to see that as like either a movie or like a limited TV show. I think there's something there to like that people would eat up,
I like that. Now
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to go get it. Now I'm gonna go get that IP. I love how passionate you are. We are at the end of the show. Tell everyone where to follow you.
You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Goodreads at Ayman's Books. I'm the same on everything. I'm not on Tumblr, fortunately.
I didn't know anyone was on Tumblr.
Me neither. Like, I thought it was actually a dead app. I didn't know it was you could still download it. But I'm not on Tumblr about everything else. But yeah, this is me.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I know everyone always has a good time listening to you. I now want to go get this vampire book. I'm going to have to write you and find out I'm taking that. He hasn't already.
I want the Invisible Lady book. The one is like,
that's already being made.
It's mine now.
You can't have it. You don't make films. You punch people.
I don't have to make films. I can take it from them. I can punch them and take the film. IP rights.
Away that IP. Yeah, you can do it.
That is not how any of that works. Thank you very much for joining us. Guys, please make sure you are following her. Thank you for joining us behind the scenes. I'm the Baroness, Summer Helene. We're on with my co-host, the second baddest bear in the pit.
The baddest bear ever.
No, what? Really?
Ever.
Badder than Sam?
I am badder than a grizzly bear. I am badder than Honey Boo Boo. I am badder than, I don't know. Hey, thank you guys for watching.
We'll see you next week.
Good night.
This has been Behind the Scenes with the Baroness and Bear Fiorda, only on Talk 4 Media.